Welcome everyone. Today we come up with another new guest. He is Professor San, and he is a he has lot of innovation and lot of innovative idea, and he has lot of applications with the innovative activities. So, with the perspective of academia and industry, we will learn many more things from him, and he is from USA, so he will bring more innovative idea for today's session. Welcome, sir. Can you please introduce yourself, and we want to know more about you and your innovation.
Thank you very much. It's my honor to be here to talk about myself, talk about China, talk about Asia, talk about the United States and beyond. So I grew up in China. I was born in China 50 years ago. Well, I already revealed my age now, right? It's unfortunate, but it's okay. So 25 years ago, I came to the state and for graduate program, and I started a job in 2000 in Los Angeles, part of Los Angeles. For those of you who know Los Angeles, you should know Los Angeles, right? It's one of the most innovative cities in the whole world. The best thing you know about Los Angeles probably is about Hollywood, the movies stuff. You see all those kind of Disney stuff, and you have those big studios here, Universal Studio. You see beaches, you see all those kind of good things. So it's a very attractive place. It's a tropical, but it's a humid. It's a Mediterranean area. So right now, it's not like in Malaysia. We have humid, hot summer, and right now we're pretty hot, but it's dry. So, environmentally, we're much more friendly compared to most of East Asia, and including China. And we know that area is kind of very humid and hot. But here it's very dry. Like in the morning, now it's about 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, very cool outside. So even during the daytime, it could be as hot as 40 degrees Celsius or more than 100 degrees in Fahrenheit. But it's very comfortable. As long as you get the shade, you have no problem. You see, the human body has some capability of self-adjustment. We don't worry about the heat in this area. Anyway, so I'm teaching, I'm working in the university called California State University, Northridge. Northridge is something north to the A. Ridge is a mountain, so it's in the valley. So for those people, if you have chance to go through Google Maps, you're going to find some place called Los Angeles. And then in the northern part, there's a valley called the San Fernando Valley. That's where our university is located. That's where my personal life is engaged daily on a daily basis. So I'm living in a pretty comfortable area. It's safe, no worry, we're fine. So for those who are concerned about my safety right now, we know America is experiencing some dramatic stuff politically, economically, and the public safety perspective. We have more than 2 million cases in terms of COVID-19 cases affected, and more than 110,000 people already died. But we're still fine because it's a big country. It's a big country. And to be crude, maybe to the bottom of the fact is people will die no matter what happens. So people will die. Everybody will die eventually. The question is how you're going to go through the long journey. It's a journey we need to cherish. It's a journey we need to put our heart into it. We need to show our courage. We need to show our knowledge. We need to show our wisdom. So during a current turbulent environment, global-wise, it's a time for us to think creatively. We need innovation. Without innovation, we're going nowhere. So innovation is really important. So personally, I'm teaching and doing all kinds of stuff, but in terms of teaching, I'm teaching all kinds of things from because most of you know geography. People hate geography. You don't like geography. I know that. But unfortunately, geography is one of the disciplines that can help you understand the history, understand the current events, understand the strategies we need to put together in order for us to have a much better world in the future. Without geography, you're going nowhere because everything has a location. Everybody cares about location, location, location. Location, location, location. Those are not just for realtors, for property development. It's for personal development as well. So for any country, for any individuals, if you want to do a good person, have a decent career, I really hope thinking critically, think it again, how important geography is in your life. We use the GPS, right? We use a cell smartphone. Why is smart? One of the reasons we use lots of apps. Lots of apps now are collecting locational data, your location, X and Y, right? Your XY is automatically transmitted into many programs, which becomes some kind of cloud computing, smart marketing, spatial-based, location-based marketing for those who only care about money. Yes, if you know location well, you can make money. If you don't know location well, you're going to lose money. So it's for your personal gain, not just for some other people's stuff. And beyond that, so I'm doing research. My research covers basically focus on urban and regional economic development, focus on high technology, those things we like, particularly in the Asia Pacific area. Every country is talking about upgrading, is talking about catching up in comparison to the Western society, more advanced technology, higher income. We're talking about technology transfer. We're talking about in terms how universities could work with enterprises. We're talking about how capital, technology, and can work together, come up with new products or something called innovative stuff. We're talking about how society can move in together, come up with innovative governance structure, policies, how government can help the local business, university, communities to build up an international competitive industry so that we can enjoy much better life, have more money in our hand. Meanwhile, keep the environmental friendly and socially tolerant society and try to become a society in the world that's more diversified, is more sustainable, that's more tolerant towards different culture. So as an individual, right here, we're now experiencing something unprecedented in human history, something called COVID-19. We need to face it. It's a reality. We're going to have a new norm of life. There's no way back. We can only examine our history and the current situation, thinking creatively, and use your wisdom to come up with a common solution that's acceptable to all races, all countries, not just one race, one ethnicity, one country. We're in this thing together. Without a collective thinking, without a collective effort, without you put your heart into this course, human beings have no future. We're doomed. So given that, I think individual creativity, organizational creativity, institutional creativity, at the different skills, if we think hard enough, if we put the resource into the places that are really good for us all, not just for you, not just for me, eventually we're going to come up with something that's unprecedented as well. That's called a solution. So where is the solution? It's between you, between me, and between among Asians, among Americans, among the Europeans, among Africans. Everybody is a part of this. Nobody can say, "Oh, it's nothing to do with me." I guess even Trump have to say, "I'm part of it," because otherwise I will not be elected. So I have to work with China now. I keep fighting for years. Now finally come to the reality. I just have to talk to China, come up with a solution. Without that collaborative spirit, we're moving nowhere. Let me tell you, we're at the critical juncture in history. We're at a very critical moment in history, in our life, in human history. Otherwise, God will punish us all. We go to hell. Even hell won't accept us. That's my word. You can publish on Facebook. It will be like it's a live streaming. It will be recorded. I know maybe people don't like my words, but I'm just telling you the brutal truth. Let's face it now. That becomes my introduction, kind of long. Is that okay?
No, it's a very interesting. We have actually a lot of questions I want to ask you. Like, you are working with the geography and the combinations of innovations, as well
Yes.
as some of the political perspective, which is for present civilization, which is very important. So beyond these geographical issues as well as these innovations, I want to ask you, what will be the futures of China-USA relationship?
U.S. and China relationship is a weird relationship. Historically, and looking at human history, any rising power will be in confrontation with the top power at that particular time. No exception. The only exception is the United States and the UK. When US replaced the UK, that was a pretty peaceful process. Well, that has some culture and historical reason because most early on, New England, those immigrants came out of UK. Culturally, they're close. They're brothers. Brothers, even brothers, fight against each other. But in this case, fortunately, it was different. It was exception. That was the norm. So given that what I've talked about, US and China will become strategic competitors to the best sense in your estimate. I hope they won't engage in some those kind of crazy wars. World War One, World War Two. I don't want to see a war which we're going to witness something called World War Three, particularly if we have crazy presidents like someone we have right now in the United States. But fortunately, we have more rational leaders from Asia, from China, and other places. And we don't want to kill people. Asian, Asian country, particularly including China, no country wants to keep people historically and current. You may say, no, that's not true. Historically, we fight against it. We fought against it. Yes, we did. But we never try to expand beyond our territory, culturally and politically. We never try to universalize, say, whole world, follow me. That's my religion. You have to follow. China did not have that tradition. India doesn't have that tradition. Asia, Southeast Asia did not have that. Only the Western culture. They try to conquer the whole world. They think their Christianity, their religion is only one, including Muslims. They think we're the best. As such, we need to expand to the whole world. You should follow me. All the others are junk. That's not right. Every culture has its own reason in existence to continue to expand. No, don't expand. Don't try to convert other people to your religion. If we're going to have a peaceful world, in the end, we have to realize every culture, every ethnicity has its own position in this whole world. Otherwise, we'll keep the fight until we're fucked. So
True,
US and
true.
China, and they will engage in strategic competition. The best thing I hope they will not become enemies like Trump did during the last year or two. They try to kill China. China is a big country. Yeah, it's right, but it's still poor. Everything is big. Everything is small. When you talk about China's economy, the whole scale is huge. Maybe based on PVP base, it's the largest, bigger than the United States. But if you're averaging by the population, China has 4 times the population of the United States. When you do that math, suddenly China becomes one of the Southeast Asian countries, similar to Malaysia, similar to Thailand, similar to Indonesia, much lower than Singapore, Japan, or South Korea. So given that reality, and the Chinese premier used to say the one word, I think it's true. Every problem, if it's a small problem, we multiply by 1.4 billion. That becomes a huge problem. You say, oh, lunch is nothing. Yeah, if you do some big math, it becomes how to supply the food for all those people, how to solve those sanitation problem for that huge population, how to feed the babies, how to provide the food. So it's not easy job, my friend. It's never been easy. I can tell you, do this shit. You do it. Can you do it? US, you tell other people do it. Now we're in a complete mess. Deal with your own business first. Clean up your ass, clean up your yard first, and then tell other people, you do it for me. You follow me. Can we follow United States now? Your home backyard is completely messed up. How can you tell other people, do this, do that? Go back, clean up your own shit, and then talk to us. Before that, shut up. I hope US and China have a friendly relationship, become friends. Because I was born in China, I grew up in China 25 years. I came to stay in 1995. I have studied, benefit from system. I know how good this system. I know how bad this society is. However, personally, I raised my family here. I love both countries. Why I want to my two parents to fight against China? Nonsense. Certain people say you go back to China. You're the spy from China. And shut up. Dare you, right? The whole environment they're toxicating. We have to deal with it. Deal with the ups and downs of the U.S.-China relationship. Ultimately, we'll be fine. We're going to have a bright future, no matter how they fight, compete against each other. Because right now, the whole world is so intertwined closely. There's no way for U.S. to have a clean cut, get rid of China. There's no way for China to say, we don't need America. We need each other to deal with all the issues from personal, institutional, organization, economically, political, environmental, cultural. So ultimately, you don't like the word used by the Chinese president. There's something called human common cause or something like that, right? Human, I don't know how to translate that thing. It's a weird Chinese term, but we understand in China, basically, the whole world is one entity. We work together. That's a very Chinese philosophical thing. You may say China, you try to promote communism? Shit, you misunderstood the whole thing. We're not talking about ism. We're talking about human common concerns, environmentally, economically, politically, militarily. We have to deal with them together to help each other. Otherwise, we're doomed. Period. Yes.
So this is very interesting discussions. Basically, in present conditions, this kind of diplomatic relationships is much more important. And another important thing is that, according to Adam Smith said that even from the history, we find that even in India, the Bongo, like it's a part of India, as well as eastern part of China and Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
These three parts, according to Adam Smith, they were actually rich once upon a time. Then this economy actually moved to Europe. From Europe, after the Second World War, it's moved to USA.
Yeah.
And perhaps according to economical analysis, now it's again moving to the Asia. So how do you think this kind of economical transformations with your innovative thinking, with your innovative transformations? How do you
Mm-hmm.
think based on
Okay.
historical transformations and
So
economical
what
transformations?
you just talk about is very geographical. You're talking about the movement of economic center, culture center, political center around the world. So from the human perspective, if you think philosophically, so each culture, each organization, each society has certain good things. They have a good fit with that time, with the technology, with the economic system, with that kind of particular, I say, economic, economic regime. You have a good fit. And then that's where you get the power, most powerful power. most powerful nation in the whole country, in the whole world. So India, China had a great history. We have those dynasties. We've become global superpower, right? Europe did that too. US now. But that things keep changing. But you never know which location will have the best fitness between social, political, cultural, and economic. Let's leave the economy as a period. But everything is economy. Without the economy, you do nothing. The economy based on technology, based on is affected by political culture stuff. They're intertwined together. You cannot separate them. It's just co-evolving together. It happened to be you, China in Tang Dynasty, in the Song Dynasty, India in Mongol Dynasty, Russia in that area, and Mongolia in certain area, and the European certain area, industrialization. Well, right now, the whole current urban, the global, the economic landscape is shaped by something called industrialization since 1500s, right? The 16th century. So right now we're dominated by something called industrialization. The industrialization has evolving from Europe to the United States. Now it's to the East Asia, Pacific in a period. So happen to be that way. So don't be flattered by the fact we're doing well, better than other parts of the country. Each nation, each country has its own best moment in history. If you look at if you look at the human perspective, long term, maybe thousands of years, maybe hundreds of years, maybe tens, millions of years. Looking that way, we're nothing. We're really nothing. So whenever you're doing well, don't be so confident, often become arrogant like current United States. When you're not doing well, don't be so pessimistic. We have no vision. No. Wait for your turn. The only thing you need to do is be patient. Put in your effort. Try to do your best. And thinking creatively and try to have a peaceful mind. Don't overdo it. Don't underdo it. Just be yourself. Do your best. Try to help yourself, help your
Yes.
family, help the society. Yes.
You are professor of geography and you live in even USA, and you come
Mhm.
up with a very unique discussion today for World Talent Economy Forum. World Talent Economy Forum, even philosophically, we do not believe in wire, we do not believe in muscle power, we do not believe
Mhm.
in exercise of power. We believe in scientific dialogues. So
We
that's
believe in
why
soft, we believe in
sci-
soft power. We don't believe in hard power.
exactly, sir. So how do you discuss? Even we do not want any unrest in between India and China, even, but
Yeah.
we observe some of the unrest happening. How do you analyze it, and how actually this kind of big power they should behave right now? What
So
your observation?
so the whole politics, if you're talking of the military is a result conflict like US China. They're engaged on border issues. Those are small things. Those are really small things. I'm not saying those the deaths of those people are nothing. I'm not saying that. The only thing, thinking broadly, given US and China, given US and India, given India and Pakistan, given India and China, in the Asian Pacific arena, in the global wise, those things just is a small piece. Don't forget the big picture. The only thing I want to say is India and China historically had a very friendly relationship. We were the two oldest civilization in the world. In Asia, we had some ugly history, but that's just a small piece of the history. In general, those two old civilizations never get into large-scale conflicts, not like Europe, they kill each other, try to compete to be the one of the best, largest Roman Empire. Greek Empire, nor the what is that? North Africa, the what is that? What's it's a Muslim that is Ottoman Empire. But we never had that kind of large scale. We had Japanese invasion, but that was one small period because Japan is a different culture, very unique culture, and history it was affected by China. So always think I'm a little brother. So I'm trying to become the big brother culturally. So how to do that? So both countries were opened by the foreign powers during the 1840s. You know, Qing Dynasty and that Japanese regime, both were forced open, and China opened half-hearted, but US, Japan opened wholehearted. They want to learn from the West and take some advantage of the opportunity and surpass China. Suddenly, the little brother become big brother in Asia. So I would want big brother. The militarism become the dominant thinking for that country. That hurts Japan long term. But Japan is a country with people with wisdom. They don't just let history move forward without self-reflective thinking. They think what's wrong with us. So right now they're at right that moment. After 30 years of suffering in late 1980s, when the Plaza Agreement signed by US and Japan, finally it realized that America is not someone I can trust in its current format. I must go back to Asia, engage neighbors, build up friendly relationship with South Korea, with China, with Southeast Asia. We're together. That's why I have 9+3 platform, Asian plus 3. We're dealing with coronavirus collectively. We're dealing economic collectively. We're not following American instruction to fuck China. We don't do that. We think we need to work together to make us strong. Don't fight against each other so that we can be one of the most powerful region in the whole world. And then we can say no to United States. And then we can say no to Europe. That where we, those people in Asia, can stand up, say, we're independent. We have our own thinking. We have our own common regional interests. We don't just want to be adopted son. I'm sorry, that's insulting to some people who are adopted. But that's a reality. Don't try to be politically correct. Being politically correct is very easy to say. But at the bottom of your heart, ask yourself, are we treating adopted kids the same way as your biological kids? I doubt it. You can say, oh yeah, I treat them the same way. Ask yourself for 3 seconds. Can you do that? Without even thinking about, he's my adopted son. He's my biological son. When you have 2 choices, I can only save 1 person. I have to let the other person to die. You're facing the hard choice. Which one you're going to choose? Only one option. Ask yourself. Don't tell me. That's your personal secret. You can say, oh yeah, they're the same. Shit. Right? Just 3 seconds. Ask yourself. Did I mention something that's deeper than what you're thinking now? I think so. Use some extreme case to frame the question. Ask yourself, what's in the heart of yourself? Don't tell people. Don't check with them. Just ask yourself. Period. So we're fine. India and China. Those every country has some ideologically strong-minded. They propagate it. Say we're defending national interest. No, they're not. They're defending their own interest. US has fraction like that. China has a fraction. India has a fraction like that. Every country has a fraction like that. If they don't want to become extremists, they become worthless, no value. The whole value of their position, that group, is based on extreme ideas, extreme actions, and extreme words, extreme publications, extreme videos, extreme shooting stuff. So it's nothing. Both India and China, their countries, both countries have long history. China in history imported Buddhism in Tang Dynasty. And the Buddhism in history becomes a national philosophy religion for China. Think about it. When Tang Dynasty was a superpower, one and only one, best one, superpower, how could a superpower adopt a foreign religion? You tell me how Tang was open, how the Chinese culture was open during that time. Right? China was willing to learn from others wholeheartedly. I even deserted my own Confucianism, Taoism, all those traditional Chinese. Buddhism now becomes one of the three pillars in Chinese philosophy and religion, not Christianity, not Muslims, but those three philosophies become one. Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. So Buddhism is one of the three, has large group of followers in China, historically in the current, even under Communist Party. Don't listen to the shit. The Chinese Communist Party is killing all the religion. No, they're not. China, as I mentioned, is a huge country. It has its own concerns. If everybody has a freedom like the US is enjoying now, China will be a mess. Nobody can manage. It will be a disaster for you, for me, for the whole world, everybody. Not just Chinese will suffer, everybody. Because if China does not do well, we're going to have political, economical, military crisis around the world. Look at what Trump is doing. He's giving up on everybody. He's giving up his own people. The only people he cares about is himself. Try to get reelected. That's the only thing he cares about. Right? But it's not about America. Trump does not represent the whole thing of America. Don't misunderstand America and Trump. Those are two different things. He does not even represent evangelical group. I said evangelical is a culture. It has a guts. Believe in something. Trump does not believe in anything. Don't listen to his shit. The only thing he believes is me, not us, us. There is never group thing in his speech. Although try to, we are the make America great and make you great again. Make me reelected. Period. Don't pretend it. If you just say, get me reelected, I admire you. If you say, make America great again, shit. Don't say it. In your heart, I know, deep in your heart, you try to get reelected. Politically, benefit yourself, benefit your family, benefit your friends, the corrupt officials, Michael Pence, Michael Pompeo. You're trying to avoid prison time. Let me put it that way. Delay the whole prison time. Because he's facing impeachment. What does that mean? Impeachment. If you're impeached, not just resign, kick your ass. Allegations are more serious than just a political thing, impeachment. People think it's just a political thing. No, it's not. It's about personal, basically it's whether or not you're going to go to jail after your term. So you try to delay his prison time, put it in the planned term. It's not about the re-election. It's about the way I will be put into jail, into prison for certain years. If some president is nice enough, pardon you. If the president thinks you're the shit, you deserve your prison time. And he will be locked up in there for a long time. He's 70 something. And maybe he will be locked until his death. That's scary for everybody. I understand it completely. And he's trying to do the best of himself, trying to avoid prison time for his family, for his friends. That's why there's to work so clearly, so closely, try to achieve what they're trying to do. Try to get Trump reelected so that at least they postpone 4 years. Hopefully, he will be healthy by that time. Right? Am I telling the truth? You
Yeah.
believe me? You don't believe me? I don't care. I really don't care. You believe me? You're lucky. You don't believe me? You choose another way of thinking. I admire you. You have the guts to go against my thinking. Good?
There is a more critical analysis is coming in that show that there is a relationship in between USA and China. But what's the future of economical innovations as there are a lot of competition?
Yes. I think given the geopolitical structure of forces, China, US, Europe, Russia, and those Japan, all those powers, I think eventually they will engage in reglobalization, deglobalization. I call it regionalized globalization. It's a new phase of globalization. We used to say the neoliberalism believe a complete globalized world. It's called a global village. We wish we're not. Unfortunately, Earth is too big for a village. We cannot just had one village say I control everything. I have one company supply all the stuff. Oh, Intel, we produce all the chips. We have Microsoft, we produce all the Office, the Windows. We have Apple, we produce all the smartphones. No, it's not going to happen. What we're going to find is a regionalized globalization. That means, ultimately, I think we're going to engage in some big powers. Europe will have something, have their own system, politically, economically, and technologically. US will have its own system. China and Asia will have its own system, believe me or not. Okay, so right now the problem is with Europe. Asia has something. Asia has China, Japan, South Korea, India, Malaysia, Thailand, all those kinds, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan. We got almost everything. US has a problem. They don't have the manufacturing. Europe, they don't have the innovation they need. So each region has its own. But Asia is at the best location, best spot in history to have something of our own without having to rely on external forces. We have everything. We have everything. So don't be afraid. Asia has a bright future. US need to rethink how it can rebuild the global supply chain innovation chain with South America, Latin America. Don't just look at those countries, just shit asshole country. No, those are your assets. If you work closely strategically, they should treat those countries as us, as brothers and sisters. Help them build the manufacturing, and then use the US technology, innovation, manpower, and then build the innovation, become its own sphere. Historically, they have close relation. Europe, same thing. Think about not just in Europe. You need to work together. European, the biggest problem is a divided world, although it has the EU, but EU is not strong enough. So the whole EU is divided into so many small countries. Well, I cannot say that because Germany is so big, France, they don't like me. But you have UK, I step out. It's a divisive force. Not just like that. Europe, the leaders in Europe, they really need to think how to work with Africa, how to work Eastern Europe. Given that they really need to deal with Russia creatively. Because if you keep expanding, Russia says, hey, where is my position? So in my world, given the complicated future, we're going to have four forces. One is centered around Germany, France, Europe, plus Africa. And then we have Russia coming back to control the former Soviet Union, plus certain part of Eastern Europe. Then China, India, Japan, Singapore, we can work collectively because we have a common thinking of philosophy. We believe in working together. We don't believe in fight. We in Asia will become one of the most important forces moving forward. Make sense? So we have such a big power structure, multiple centers of culture, economic, technology, and then those power will talk to each other, have a stable, relatively stable. And historically, people right now, all the shit Western politicians, they believe in some hegemonic power, HG, the international. We need the superpower like US to be the worldwide police, to take care of it. We don't. That's not stable structure. We have only one. Listen to me. 3 is the best thing, number 3, in your life. When you're writing articles, make an argument, 1, 2, 3. Even when you're dancing, 1, 2, 3. Even when you're talking, 1, 2, 3. When you write an article, 1, 2, 3. 3 is good. So eventually, we're going to have a word consisting 2 or 3 pillars. Not the G2. G2 thing is not a stable structure. We need 3 pillars. Think about for a chair, for a stool, you need 3 those pillars to support it. Once you have 3 pillars, real 3, independent, then we have a stabilized, relatively stable. I'm not going to, it's going to be still forever, because who will become the pillar 1, big one, small one? They will have change. But generally speaking, they're engaged in competition for sure. But in general, they have a relatively stable, structure-wise, global-wise structure. So that will help us. So eventually, we have Russia. Yes, 4 is fine. We have chairs, tables have 4 those legs. 3 or 4, that's fine. And you may have some other 5, 6, well, too many. It's like you have a meeting in a workshop. You have 10 people, you have pretty good, meaningful discussion. Once you have more than 12, oops, too many opinions. I'm not saying countries should have organized in a hierarchical way. What I'm saying, we need to have global leaderships, which can work collectively to deal with those global problems effectively. You have 10 voices, a G2, G8, that's okay. But G2 is not good. G7 is not good because you exclude China, exclude Russia. Those 2 big powers is not stable. It's not good. Something we can help, right? So right now we have United Nations. Well, and the United States, we don't trust you. We have World Trade Organization. Yes, we're not going to keep the current. We have WHO. All those organizations, they came out of the World War II. They're not functioning well. We need to have some global mechanism, global forum, global new organizations to make sure we understand each other. We talk to each other openly in a transparent way so that we don't hide those dirty stuff behind you. Because once you are in the hidden room, you can, without an interpreter, we use AI as an interpreter. Nobody knows what they're talking about. So you open your heart. Make yourself transparent to each other. We don't need as translator. No, you get out of here. I don't need you between President Trump, President Xi, Macron, and Putin. You can sit in that small room, drink, and talk openly. How can we help each other while, help me get reelected. And then we talk friendly in an open way. We help each other. We colluded with each other. We have to collude with each other, even against the will of our own people. Yes, I'm very authoritarian. You're promoting communism. Yes, I'm promoting. Am I? You can say it, but I'm not. Okay? What I'm saying, we need to work together for the common cause of you and me. If you think that's part of communism, I will support communism. If you think that's part of capitalism, I will support capitalism. No matter which ism, if it goes to extreme, it becomes terrorism. Let me repeat it. No matter which ism you're talking about, if you're willing to go extremist, I call it's called terrorism. No matter which one. Ultimately, any ism, if it does not serve the interests of people, your shitism. Shit. Start with the shit S. You don't use that word. You're not allowed it. But I use it anyway. Ultimately, we need to think collectively. I think only one ism is good. It's called humanism. You're a human being. I posted the other day as a letter from Einstein to his daughter when he was dying. What he said, I wish everyone would go read Einstein's final letter to his daughter. What he said is, the world is not united by some grand theory I developed. It's not united by some money, global currency. It's not united by some ism. It's not united by some military powers. Ultimately, the thing that can unite the world is something called love. Love is ultimate unifying force for everyone, for all the people around the world, regardless you are from US, regardless you're from China, whether you're from India, from Europe, from Malaysia, from Pakistan, from Thailand, from Bangladesh, from Singapore, from Japan, no matter which country you're from, Africa, we are human beings. So I wish everybody go find out Einstein's final letter to his daughter. It's a very philosophical, deep thinking letter beyond most of the current shit writing by so many popular writers on the web, including me. Good?
Yes. Sir, there are very good positive response from the audience, even some of the scholars, philosophers also joining with us. Mr. Akku Chaudhary, he's a great philosopher from Himalaya. So your message go to Himalaya as well. He's a great freedom fighter from Bangladesh. He built up a very successful business, and now he live his life in Himalaya. He's none other than Mr. Akku Chaudhary. He said, great thought. Asia is the future. Look east for heritage culture and large economy. The future is Asia for the new world. With small is beautiful, less is more. Mindset.
Exactly.
Great talk. Inspired by
Thank you.
He said, great talk. And he has a slogan. He said, Joy Manush. What you said, like a human being. He has his own powerful message. He said his own language, Joy Manush. There are other response from Shohel Rana. He's doing a lot of stuff for World Talent Economy Forum. Firdos Rana, Mohammad Sohail Rana said, as you said, we have everything. Then do you think Asia is behind USA and Europe in the business innovations? Like it means that he's thinking that is there any possibilities that Asia is not developed like USA and Europe? Firdos Rana, she said that I think now it's the time for Asia to develop the future business innovations. So what you react? Yes.
First of all, I appreciate the comments provided by Professor Chodihar. If I pronounce your name, forgive me. It's
Mr. Akku Chaudhary.
Akku. Okay, it's because I'm speaking English and I learned Chinese, and I did not start to speak English until I came to the States. We didn't have the opportunity to practice my oral English anyway. But I agree completely. Something called small is beautiful, less is more mindset. And we trust the big. We try to be big, too more powerful, too much for too long. We big conglomerates, multinational corp. We want to control everything. We want big cities, so that big buildings, big becomes a dominant. We want the big, richer, more money, more. Small is beautiful, less is fun, right? So given the current environment, think about it. Where the problem, where the location have the biggest problem? New York City. Why New York City is a monster? Once you have a monster city, it's kind of very easy to be defeated by some small thing. It's too weak, not sustainable. That's why we need to rebuild this future society. And then we don't talk about smart cities. I think it's not enough. Because smart city, the whole thing is technology oriented. It's still, materialized. We need to go beyond the technology. We need to think about the holistic view. I think ultimately, for any technology, any society, it's not about technology. It's about the philosophical thinking. Culture stuff is ultimate driving force, which can determine the long-term future, the prospect of future. So I promote three types of thinking: not communism, not capitalism. Okay, philosophically ignore those isms; those are too short. One is something called holistic thinking. When you think about something, or think about multiple dimensions, meaning the holistic, big picture, very important. Don't just pick up those little things, focus on those little Indian-China conflict. Forget the big picture. We have friendly relations, historic, and in the future. We're already thinking in economic, political, technological, environmental, culture, those different forces. Don't just think about technology. Technology is nothing. Holistic thinking. Second is something which Asian church a lot. It's called dialectical thinking. We always need to think how positive energy and the negative they can convert. US, they look at China. Gosh, you got the coronavirus. We can laugh at you. Oops. Suddenly came to your name. You become big joke. Everyone laughing at you. Right? And then some other way, look at yes, you're suffering. Oops, overnight. You deal with the problem peacefully. Becomes still keeping the current position, it becomes stronger. Could it be? Have opportunity. So think the dialectic. Positive things, good things, bad things, they're not never been fixed. Philosophically, historically, they keep changing. Right? When you have crisis, that's the moment you can create big opportunities. Crisis and the opportunity, they're always coexisting with each other. For those people only can see crisis, and then you're not smart enough, or you don't have wisdom, I would say, philosophically. So finally, I promote the third type of thinking, which is something critical thing of reflective thinking. Thinking critically about everything you see, you read, you do about yourself. In China, for Confucian, there's this thing. And for a wise person, you need to think about yourself 3 times a day. I say you don't really need to. It's not like a religion. It's not like a Muslim. You need to, show your respect to your God and Mecca 3 times, morning, night, and evening. You don't need to do that. Just practiced every week. Can you do that? Every week, you're thinking critically. What's going on in this current world? What's going on in your personal life? What's going on in your family? Can you just spend 10 minutes? Talk to yourself. Write it down. And this part I did right. And this part is wrong. This part Trump says is right. This part Obama did wrong. This part Joe Biden did. That's why I don't like any of them. Because they're shit. When thinking critically, they're not really for the benefit of the human being. They're only for the benefit of some kind of Democrats or Republicans or certain forces behind those two parties. The action, the words, they don't match with each other, right? So those three kind of philosophical thinking, I think, will help us for Asia to move forward. And that's why I don't think Asia is behind the US or Europe in terms of business innovation. Business innovation is too narrow. We don't just talk about business. Business is about money. It's about profit. We need to think beyond the money issue. We need to think about culture issue, human value. Are we better, more innovative? I think so. Because we are more tolerant, we're more collectively oriented. We think about other people. We don't just care about money. We don't just care about our individuals. We care about our family members. We care about our communities. We care about the country, even the global value. Unfortunately, during the last 3 or 4 years, the dominant force has been the Western thought, had been about the money, material, have been about make myself happier, making yourself more satisfied, have sex, drugs. You're so addicted to money issue. So let's move beyond the money issue. Think about the culture issue. Make yourself happier, not richer. Ask yourself, when you have more power, when you have more money, when you're more famous, are you happier? I don't know. If you keep fighting for those nonsense, I call it nonsense, your life will be ruined by the power, money, fame you have tried so hard to pursue in your life. When you are almost dead, you're dying, you ask yourself, is that worth it? All the time I spent with my family, with myself, with my community, you must regret. I wish I could go back, restart my life. I will live a different life. That life is to be open-minded. Don't just focus on the material side of life. We need to be more philosophical and cultural and spiritual. And then you have easy going, just like people in Bhutan. That's one of the country, poorest country, where it has a highest index of happiness. Go look at our Asian country, Bhutan. That's on the border between China and India. Interesting, right in the middle of two bigger powers. The king of that country has a wisdom to deal with the two big powers, make his people happy. Is magic. Is really magic. Ultimately, what drives this whole world to a peaceful future is not about technology. It is philosophy. We need a wisdom. We need a wise leaders, as wise as the king of Bhutan kingdom. I wish someday I can visit that country. I will. I'm pretty sure.
This is actually very interesting discussion. Even Araf Mehraj, he said, "Thank you for your nice analytical opinion. I think we have to learn from this session. So it's a highly analytical, so based on the geographicals, politicals, economy, and it's really innovative. So one important question I always ask to my great auditor, like guest, how you build up your thought process and what your advice the like for the young generation, how they build up their philosophical aspects and leadership quality, and they can care about human being.
I'm old enough to say, and the young folks listen to me, right? Become rude. Some Americans are arrogant. But about arrogance. It's about the way I preaching. It's about the way I want to present myself. I think we need, for the young folks, I think I understand you have huge pressure when you're facing the new world. It's a messy world. Where is my job? Where is my next paycheck stuff? Right? So I would like you to think from yourself first, because that's a way to deal with the reality. If you make no money, you say your kids are dying. Daddy, give me the food. You need to face it. So thinking practically, make enough money to while you're surviving, make a living for yourself, for your family, thinking broadly, thinking philosophically, how to make your kids happier instead richer. And try to practicing the stuff you cherish. You see, am I happier? I ask your wife, are you happier? Can we create a better, happier life? And working collectively and taking advantage of some of the resources around the world, around themselves, creating a community, help each other moving forward, pull together the resources available in the global wise, technology, talents, ideas, platforms, and working for the common goal, not just for you, but for your family and for the community, for your country, for everybody else. Make everybody happier, better. And then your life will be much better. You become richer while at the same time happier. That's my suggestion.
Yes, this is actually very nice discussion in terms of innovations, and your analysis has more critical thinking with practical approach, and all of your advice actually we believe from our heart from World Talent Economy Forum. That's why we organize a lot of dialogues like it, and we're taking not only interview, we want to understand human psychology, we have to understand the philosophy, we have to connect with the technology and the business and the better, we want to create better
Yeah.
human beings. So
Yes.
how you give us listen today, hopefully we will get more of your advice and support in the futures, and thanks for a brilliant sessions, and it's a, hopefully it will be amazing how I getting response from the audience. Hopefully it will be very thoughtful, and futures with your innovative approach we will enlighten ourselves, and hopefully we will get your mentorship. Thank you professor for your time, for your
You're
valuable
welcome. Yeah.
and
Mhm.
everything. And
Yeah.
as well as I want to give thanks Mr. Aku Chaudhary, Sohel Rana, Firdos Rana, Araf Mehraj, Humaira Tanzila, and they are really appreciating your sessions. They learn a lot from your session. Thank you, sir. Thank you, professor,
Thank you.
for your
Thank you.
brilliant thought.
Yeah.
Brilliant thought.
Well,
Thank
you
you.
have you have my Facebook account is there, and if you
Yes.
cannot find my email, go ask your coordinator for my personal email. But don't shoot me with tons of issues. I need to deal with one by one. So be patient if I'm delayed. Don't say shit. This professor is arrogant. I'm not that person. I'll try to deal with those emails one by one, and I never leave the emails unread unopened unless it's junk. If it goes to junk, you're junk. I don't help you with that. Google help me does that job. So given that, I'm more willing, happy to help anybody if you have some issues and business wise, personal one. No, 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 don't talk about if you want a girlfriend, boyfriend, don't look at for help from me. But if you think I have some ideas, I want to do this, can you help me? Well, you're good to look at my home personal website and share. You can share my website there, the Invasion Los Angeles 2050 stuff. It's there. So we're talking about lots of things. If you're willing to participate, just shoot me your and register. If you're not this year, we're going to cancel the whole year. We're going to postpone to next year. But this year is not going to work. Nothing is going to work this year because the whole thing is messed up by Trump. Okay, and let's blame Trump now. He's shit. So let's blame him. That's fine. So anyway, so you can organize all kinds of events in the future, in the near future, or travel to Asia because I do travel to Asia lots of time, and most with China as a stage And now we can always, getting stuff done in China, in Malaysia. I have never been to Malaysia. I have never been to India. I even never been to Hong Kong. I'm talking about Hong Kong shit. I write about Hong Kong shit. But where travel? Traveling, open your mind once you make enough money and choose some cheap ways. Don't go some expensive. Well, there's some cheap, good ways. Both cheap but good. So it's a weird combination. Yeah, there's an option there. So talk to me. I want to see you. Yeah, come here, spend like a few $100 and then come to China and stay in the hotel a couple of days. You go to some event, some conference, and treat with some nice Chinese cuisines. So you're going to enjoy more talks from me. Or you have more money. So I want to invite you to come to Malaysia to tell. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm an open-minded person.
Thank you, Professor, for your invitation. And definitely World Talent Economy Forum. In future, we're going to invite you. We will arrange program together. And definitely in our board, we're going to invite you as our advisor, as our
Let me make you offer right now. Okay, I'm invited by a publisher because everything is online now, right? So because I'm teaching geography, the publisher we need a online textbook. It's called World Regional Geography. Yeah, geography is important. So we're putting together World Regional Geography. We need to talk about every region. And I'm looking for co-authors right now dealing with 3 parts of Asia. If any of you're interested, tell me. You say I can write chapter. And let me tell you, one chapter is on Korea and Japan combined. The other one is Southeast Asia, excluding South Asia. India, Pakistan is untouched. It's already covered by someone. So Southeast in the Asian countries, and then moving to Middle East, to Asia, Middle East, and North Africa, Middle East. That's the culture, the same, similar, close to each other. So I need 3 authors on Asia. Everyone else is covered. I'm reserving that spot for someone from this group. Hopefully, I can recruit someone, 3 of you. One person, one chapter. So one chapter, Korea, Japan, and Southeast Asia, and North Africa, and the Middle East. If you're interested, you ask Sheriff or leave a message. Go to Facebook. My account is Ifeisan, or I forgot China Ifeisan, whatever the account is. And also, I need someone who deal with, if you know Australia and New Zealand, Oceania, good enough. And I need one person for that because I have hard time to find. So I don't know anybody that I've contacted one person. So I'm too busy. I retired already busy. I cannot survive your requirement. The whole thing is very small. It's only about 15 to 20 pages, not too big. Okay. And we have a common structure. I will tell you how to. We're gonna have a group meeting, talk and give my initial idea. And I already talked with the rep from the publisher, and then we aim to get this whole book done by the end of this year, so that the textbook will be ready for spring 2021, and then you're going to start making money. Hey, because online class, in era with online, they need good textbook, so we're putting together one of the first just target online. I'm not saying the traditional class cannot use, but the main audience is for the online classes, student, the faculty members. So it's a very, we're going to have a very interactive, very dynamic, multimedia, internet, Facebook, chat room, whatever. Okay, so making my offer to you the offer is on the table, it's on the screen in Facebook. Now you tell me whether or not you can do it. If you're interested, show me your CV or resume. Say yes, I can, and I'll pick up the best one to work with me on this. Good.
Yes. Thank you, Professor, for your valuable offer, for your valuable thought, for your philosophy, and for your guideline for human being. This is a very good discussion and very good timing for us. Thank you, Professor, for your brilliant interview sessions. Hopefully, we will send you the recorded video to you. Thank you, Professor.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. Nice talking to you guys. I hope you enjoy my talk. Don't say this shit professor come from arrogant America and plus arrogant Chinese. You see, combine the arrogance, both culture. Oh gosh, he will become the monster of future. I hope I'm not. I do not give that kind of super bad impression. From the bottom of my heart, I love you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. So
Yes.
we love you. We love you as well. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Professor.
you. Yes, bye. Mhm.